Shalom. It's concrete day and I'm almost prepared. We got about probably 40 minutes till the truck comes. Last preparation is trying to build a chute because we've got a long distance as far as to move concrete for our sidewalk, and we're hoping this metal chute's going to give us what we need. Stay with us today and we'll build we'll show you what we're building. Okay, good morning. It is, again, as we talked about, it's concrete pour day. And I can tell you, I've got two of my buddies here with me. I've got my son here with me, and we are excited. You can see I'm already wringing wet. Had to make a few last preparations on some things, which we'll go over as we're talking the final pour. But we are set for the footer, the floor, and then also the full sidewalk. And then afterwards, we'll go over the tools that we used and those types of things, so that way, in case if you're like me, never done this before, you at least have some understanding. And if I butcher some of the tools names, completely apologize. For those of you that are in the concrete profession, I'm just telling you what we used them for. So again, thanks for watching. Shalom. From Shalom Makers. I want to give you a brief update on the tools that we used for the concrete work. First, most important tool we had was this rake for pulling the concrete to where we wanted. You know, we built a special chute to get it down to the sidewalk and other things. That worked out a lot, really well. But this rake, it's amazing how much concrete it moves, and then also based on how wide it is as far as setting up between the rebar, it did a great job. Then after that, used the bowl float. Bowl float did a nice job as far as smoothing it out, allowed us to work it a little bit. Pretty good tool. On the sidewalk, we used our edging tool. Edging tool actually gives a little bit of a cupping piece that allows it to just kind of be a smooth, kind of a rounded end, so that way you don't have to worry about it cracking, being a real sharp edge. And then when we were actually working the concrete, we had our finishing trowel, which was nice, but the part that was amazing, because we were doing this on such a hot day, was the mag float. So this little mag float, from what I understand, the magnesium in this actually is what pulls the moisture and then the small particulates back up out of the concrete. So as we had some areas that needed to be a little bit smoother, we used this mag float. You could actually see what was dry concrete all of a sudden became just moist and pliable and allowed you to work. So this is a tool I'd say a must-have for doing concrete. The only other tools we used when we had a small area, we did have a hoe just to rake off the outside of the top of the board as far as when we were doing that. and then we used a 2x4 to actually do the initial kind of skirting on. And then the final piece that we used was just a stiff bristle broom. That stiff bristle broom just allowed us to kind of give a broom finish overall in the concrete. And I'll be honest with you, just kind of gave us a little bit of the texture, and in a few areas where it looked like we could have done a little bit better. It's amazing what that broom finish did as far as kind of make it look really nice. So those are the tools, and if you've never used any of these tools, don't worry, I haven't either. It worked out really well today, and it was wonderful. So thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hope you have a phenomenal day. Morning from Shalom Acres. We poured the concrete on Thursday, and it is now Sunday. I'm about a day and a half behind where I'd like to be. You can see the forms are still up. See a little bit of moisture on the concrete. That is one key thing that we're doing. We're putting just a little bit of water on it. Since it is so hot, we're trying to make sure it slows down as far as, the rapid moisture removal from the slab. Overall, feeling really good about where we're at, especially since none of us had really poured concrete before. You can see I've taken some screws loose and starting to get ready to beat off the outer foundations, and then we'll go to the inner foundations. So that's really what we're going to do this morning. And then I'm also going to stress cut the sidewalk so that way try to alleviate any chances of cracking. We'll do that with a diamond blade. And then if everything goes well, I'm going to lay out my first course of block today and just make sure that everything's true and square, and make sure the dimensions of how we laid out the foundation match up real well to the block. Thanks for coming with us. Hope you have a good day. Bye. Little tip for maybe not having to use a hammer to beat out these stakes. Just take a pipe wrench on here and spin it. Oh, kind of tight. So if you can spin it several times, this way it won't crack any of your foundation. As far as, because I've let my foundation kind of run through on purpose, give me a little more sag. But if you take a pipe wrench, you spin it multiple times, you keep your hole in your concrete easy, and then you can just, you work on pulling them out that way. And then there's no hammer, no beating. And you can see I've got some pretty long stakes. They were in there pretty good. It's working out well. Hopefully these tricks are helping you out, because they're helping me by the people that I talk to. Thank you. So we've got all the forms off. That was a lot more of a pain than what I thought. Took me about 3.5 hours because of the way I stair-stepped it, put an inner form and an outer form. Some of that concrete I ended up pushing up against the outer form, and it made it a little bit more difficult. I'm sorry, the inner form, and it made it a lot more difficult to take it off. So if I had to do it all over again, I probably just would have put a straight form all the way down instead of stair-stepping it. Here's what we're getting ready to do. We just put a diamond blade on our circular saw. We're going to go ahead and cut a couple stress relief cracks in the sidewalk. So we've already marked them. We've got them about every 4.5 feet. So we're going to need 4 of them on our sidewalk. And like I said, it's 1.5 inches deep. We do know we have the pipe, our drain from inside. The root cellar is actually running through here, so that's part of what I want to make sure I'm not hitting. But the other part is 1.5 inches should be plenty enough to give some relief for the concrete from thermal expansion. So here we go, we're going to cut it.